Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, show where you come for your regular geeky download. My name's Tommy, and I'm delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host from across the pond, who's soon to be across the pond. It's DL.
You're revealing my travel schedule.
I am.
I'm compromised.
Yeah, because everyone who listens to this is following
Dude, you have to fucking take a... I had to go get a proper COVID test today. Like
up the nose?
Well, not like one at the drive-thru. I had to go pay $100 to fly.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know
I mean,
that.
it was the same test, apparently. They did the nose
Okay.
and the mouth. So I guess that's what the $100 is.
Oh,
You want it in the mouth.
It's both sides.
Yeah. You gotta pay $100.
So that's some people's kinks, man.
Yeah,
some people want to pay $100 for that shit.
I don't judge, man. I don't
What do
judge.
you like? I got one like ages and ages ago, so I've only really had one of the COVID tests where it's up the nose. And the girl who was like, waving us through, basically said it's gonna feel like you just ate like a massive chunk of wasabi all at once, and it hits the back of your throat. I was like, when I had it, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like in the back of the throat. Did you not feel that?
I know. A massive chunk of wasabi is much worse. It wasn't that bad. You're being a bit
It's not
dramatic.
the burning. It's the back of the throat.
Yeah. I mean,
though.
like, it's just because it's way up your nasal cavity. I mean, that's the gist.
Way to be really obvious about this.
Yeah. But yeah, I had to pay that. So I'm traveling. It's nice.
You're traveling?
Exciting.
Excited to go
I
back
wonder
to the
if
States
like
a
there's
little
gonna be anyone on the plane.
bit? Surely by now there would be.
I don't know.
Surely by now there would be. You think so? Like it's been dribs and drabs. They've opened it up more and more. Like apparently, I had a bunch of friends who went. In fact,
It's all gonna be Americans.
You know our friends.
Surely.
The other American peoples we know over here. They went back during COVID for like a family's wedding or something.
Yeah.
And it was literally like them and like 6 other people on the plane. Like that's
But that's because it's like an exemption, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
But now but I'm just wondering even now, like how many people were like, "Fuck it, I'm going home."
I think a lot of people will be
Yeah.
if they've got the residency and stuff. They'd be down. I'd be going home if I could.
Yeah.
You know
That's fair.
me,
It's fair. It's
Britain,
fair.
Australia.
Anyway, so I am gonna be across the pond.
You are, and
Yeah.
that means we're gonna have a little interesting breakup in the schedule. So we've got some surprises coming for you guys if you're excited. To get you excited, we've got a special guest. Yeah, I don't know if you'd be. We've got a special guest who's going to be on one of the shows coming up soon. Fingers crossed that all works out. Haven't tested the software yet, so who actually knows? And we have another episode that we've scheduled. Well, we've already recorded, right, for the in between times.
Yes. Well, in the future.
Yeah. Well, in the
past.
in our past, but the future, and
Yeah.
that's a joke that happens in the podcast.
I'm sure we've
That's
used
a bit
it.
we do.
Yeah.
Hey, look, guys, before we jump into conversations, there will be time codes in the description. So if you want to listen to us chat shit about our days, what we've been up to, what we have been doing in the geeky world, feel free. But if you want to jump to our main topic, which I'm sure you all know by now from the lovely title of the episode, feel free. What have you been up to this week, buddy? What have you been doing?
So I didn't do much because we didn't have that much time between. I'm halfway through Free Guy.
Oh,
I
halfway through?
finished Free Guy.
Where are you up to?
I don't know. He's like leveling up.
You're pretty early doors then.
I'm like 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
He's leveled up, or he's like trying to get his mate to like take on the glasses with him, or something like that.
Oh, yeah. You're
Like,
pretty early doors.
yeah.
Come back to when you've seen it. I'd like to know your thoughts.
Yeah, and anyway, so that's like literally all I've watched. I did watch the first episode of the new Netflix, like kind of, every couple of years there's like a Animal Planet, like or what is it called? Planet Earth.
Yep.
Kind of remake.
My absolute favorites.
Yeah, they're the best. This one on Netflix, it came out. I just watched the first episode. It's about big cats.
Is it David
It was good.
Attenborough?
It's not. It's someone new.
Okay.
Which is refreshing, I guess. You can't have him do every single one.
I wanted. He should do everything.
Anyway, I'm excited to get into that. But because I didn't watch anything, I did, take a point to say, hey, there's a lot of stuff I want to watch. Because Netflix, it looks like, just had like a big refresh. Every now and again, Netflix just has a refresh. You're like, what the fuck? You got a new look.
You got Harry Potter back?
You went and got some work done. Like, what the fuck?
Got your nails did?
Yeah, it was, so I've got like a bunch of stuff I want to watch. Army of Thieves, which is a new Netflix movie.
Can I give you a piece of advice?
I mean,
just don't.
It's 70% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Good for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's any good. But anyway, so that's there.
Well, actually, tell me how it is. Like, give me good feedback.
Have you not seen it?
I've seen the Army of the Dead one.
Is it the same movie?
It's a prequel to that movie.
Oh. Well, then now I'm not as excited.
Yeah. And it was my literal least favorite character in the whole of Army of the Dead.
Okay, sweet.
It's the dude who cracked vaults, right?
So what are they doing? Like a zombie universe?
It's like a prequel showing how like this dude got to the
but like
being the team.
how did they just already greenlight that movie if like the other one had barely?
I don't fucking know. Zack Snyder, man. Netflix were just like, let's give him some cash.
Yeah, A Time to Kill, which is an older movie, but I just
Isn't
saw
that a
they
Bob
added
movie?
that. It's on there. What?
Is that a Bob movie?
No, it's a book, but it's not
Time
Bond.
to Kill. Sounds like that sounds very Bond.
It does sound Bond.
What's it about? Do you know?
I think like a lawyer. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I just know that the writer's really good and he writes good thrillers.
Cool.
The Gentleman, which I believe I've seen like half of.
I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah. It's like it's Guy Ritchie and actually maybe we saw it together.
I actually don't know.
I did. I feel like I've seen it, but I only remember half.
I've definitely seen it. I don't know if I saw it with you.
Yeah. Anyway, that one's on there now. What's Your Number? A Chris Evans movie, 90s rom-com. I'm just curious what he was like in the 90s.
Well,
I'll watch this with Gail. I'll make her pick it. I'll trick her. I'll be like, this looks like a good one for you. She picks it, uses her thing, and I get 2 with 1 stone.
Love it. Go back to Not Another Teen Movie. He was in that.
He remember that movie? I remember that.
That was so good.
Yeah. Last Christmas, which is Emilia Clarke, another Christmas movie that I've got on the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing I'm excited about, but like Gail likes to watch Christmas movies, so I got some in the pipeline. The King, a show.
Yes.
I'd like to watch that.
The King with Robert Pattinson and Timothée Chalamet.
Yes.
I really want to watch that. Yeah.
I really want to watch that. I think it's a miniseries.
We've got Batman versus Paul Atreides. Who's going to win?
Exactly.
That's the real question.
And I've saved it. So
a myth versus a god.
A myth versus a god.
Kinda.
That's more than a myth. Legend.
Damn, you got a lot lined up for these flights. How
Taxi Driver, Midnight Mass, Irishman. I've got a lot of stuff I'm going to save. We'll see what I get to. We'll do a debrief
I think you should start with Irishman. You promised last week.
I'm never going to do it. It's so daunting. 3 hours?
It's so long.
How many whiskeys? We'll have to
we did do, plug for one of our old podcasts. We did Zack Snyder's Justice League that was longer than that film. It's like 4 and a bit hours, right?
Yeah, but I did that over
a couple of days. Yeah. I actually sat through it in one sitting, which was
bold man
intense. But I got through. Had like so many snacks. Had like a couple of drinks. I was just chilling out. It was a good day. It was like a Sunday. Nothing else was happening.
Yeah, fair enough.
Why not?
And then I continue to read my book, Name of the Wind, Follow Up, The Wise Man's
I'm gonna make a bold claim here.
Yes.
Based on my knowledge of yourself.
Yes.
I think on this trip you will watch maximum 2, maybe 3 of those movies you mentioned. The rest of the time, just read your book.
I probably will. Yeah,
that's
pretty accurate. And also, I think that's definitely
You've
accurate.
given yourself too lofty goals. You should have just gone with like.
I didn't mean to say that like I will watch all of these on my break. Although, if that was what I said, I'd 100% agree with you. If that's what I was,
that's literally what I was assuming you were telling.
So what I was saying is like instead of like saying what I watched, I saw that Netflix did a refresh of a bunch of stuff that I haven't seen. So I've added a bunch of things to my list.
Got it.
Don't expect to get to.
Okay, then we'll narrow it down. Then which ones are you going to try and watch while you're away? What do you reckon?
Well, I guess I have to say The Irishman.
You got to try.
The King, The Irishman.
I would watch The King as well.
Yeah. Probably after that much intensity, I'll want to watch something kind of a little more laughable. So maybe What's Your Number or Last Christmas, one of those two.
Sure.
I don't know, man.
I don't know about Last Christmas. That's the Emilia Clarke one where the dude
got good ratings for a Christmas movie.
Sure. Well, I mean, I've seen the trailer and I'm just guessing that he's like a ghost or something. Like, it's what it looks like. Watch the trailer. I think you'll immediately stop. I've never seen the fucking movie.
Yeah, so you say. You probably go on the Wikipedia, like...
I watched the anime, of course, yeah.
And then I guess I'll round it out before I get to what you've watched with I did play a bit of Mario Party this week and I got 8 stars in a single match. 8 stars. For you Mario Party fans, which you probably aren't many. Can I be honest? It's not that good of a game. But the partner likes what the partner likes. 8 stars in a single match.
That's unheard of.
It was just.
Was anyone else even playing?
I think that like the dialogue changed. Yeah. You know how you A through it so fast in that game because it's so much bullshit of like it's like over explaining things. Awful. So like the little dialogue prompts, I'm pretty sure it changed to like this is a miracle.
Did you get really lucky or something? Like that game's hard.
I got really lucky. Yeah, there's no way you don't.
Yeah.
Yes, it is still a board game, but like what I found out about that game is you actually can time the dice roll. So I was like got really good at just timing the dice roll to get 10 every time. Mm-hmm. So I mean, a bit of luck.
You didn't get 10 stars though. You only got 8.
Only because
so you could do better.
Only because Yoshi stole 2.
Ooh.
Anyway. Sorry, moving on. Boring
fucking
shit.
Yoshi, man.
What did you?
Well, that's your Switch game, right? I mean, I think my partner bought it too, but we've played it once, and we were both like, "This is just long."
The game would be so much better if they just after you'd played it once, they didn't explain everything.
You could just cut all the dialogue.
Ugh, it's awful. Instead, you just sit through it every time.
So bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I've been up to a couple of interesting bits this week. I think I think you like these, and I think one of them you'll definitely want to watch. So one thing I watch is a new Netflix thing, which is in the refresh, funnily enough. It's called Bad Sport, which may be the worst title for anything of all time. Yeah. But it's actually really interesting. So it picks I think it's 8 sporting controversies. I can't say words. Controversies, and it deep dives each of them. So I've only actually watched the one that's on football, soccer.
Okay.
And it's about Italy in the mid 2000s. There's their biggest team. I don't know if you've ever heard of Juventus. It's the biggest team in Italy. They're huge. They've won more titles than all the other teams combined, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they had this sporting director who was, spoilers for this show, I suppose, but from the mid 2000s, who was literally influencing the referees to swing games their way. So they had the best team in at least Italy, if not one of the best teams in Europe. And they were still doing all this stuff. It's so interesting.
It's kind of like the Astros, man.
Yeah, and it was interesting because what they got him on, it was what do you call it? Organized crime, basically, is what they tried to get him on. It was unreal.
Wow. So
that's really good. I think you'll like that. There's one. I think there's definitely ones on American sport and stuff, so you'd be into that. In fact, the Astros might be on there.
It was recent, but the same thing, right? This team was good enough to win the World Series without any help, and they had a full-on cheating.
They did it anyway.
Scandal. Yeah.
Well, I also got around this weekend to watching a movie that I've had on my list for ages to rewatch, and I've just not got around to it. But this weekend, I thought, screw it, it's happening. It's Inglourious Bastards.
I've seen that movie so many times.
So many times. I still love it, though, when I watch it.
Of course, yeah.
That final scene.
I'm surprised that you're saying you haven't rewatched it before.
In ages. I have rewatched it. I just haven't rewatched it in ages.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
The scene, it's just that last bit with Christopher Waltz where he's digging it into his forehead. I was squirming at the time.
Spoilers.
I mean, that's not really giving anything away. Digging in the forehead. What am I telling anyone?
Spoiled the whole movie for you guys.
It's good. It's bloody good. I love that, and I think that's Tarantino's absolute best.
I think I would say that. I think it's my favorite.
Your favorite Tarantino?
Yeah,
it's up there for me for sure. I think Kill Bill's up there for me, but
I don't love Kill Bills because I'm not a fan of that genre as much that he's kind of playing to.
Sure,
but I would say that one's my favorite, and honestly, top 3 for me. Hateful Eight would be in there, and a lot of people don't like it, but true film critics actually, a lot of them do. So I vibe with that. That makes me think I'm worth something in this.
Really not
genre.
All about one fan who listens to this.
Anyway,
the last one I was going to mention before I move on was last night. I finally, after the rest of the world's watched it 3 months ago, we finally got No Time to Die in Australia. So I've watched it. I can report back. I enjoyed it. It's better than Aquaman.
3 hours.
It's not quite 3 hours. It's 2 hours 40 or something. But very good. I'll let you go away and make your own decisions and watch it on your own.
Yeah, I will. I kind of feel like I need. Let me ask you this: having seen it, should I be adding some James Bond movies to my list in preparation for watching it?
How much did you like the Craig ones?
I've seen all of them. I just don't remember them. That's
I reckon.
My point. Should I rewatch some of them?
Yeah, I reckon you could rewatch some of them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Probably watch the first 2. Definitely the first 2 minimum, and maybe Spectre as well. I didn't love Spectre, but this definitely has lots of throwbacks to it. So if you don't quite remember the plot beats of Spectre,
it's kind of you're not gonna like it as much. Yeah.
I mean, you are it's a fantastic standalone movie. There are a lot of bits so Blofeld. Yeah, it's from the trailers. Blofeld's in it again.
I saw a lot of the villains from the old movies are in it.
It's just Christoph Waltz, I think. Okay. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Highly recommend. We were going to do a pod on it, but we just didn't have time.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe another time. Maybe we'll come back to it one day. Well, anyway, moving on. Have you heard this week? I don't have my thing open. Have you heard this week? There has been so much news. We did have, as I mentioned last week, we had the Disney Plus Day. I'm going to wait a minute to get to that. I think what I might do for that, because there was a lot of stuff, I'm just going to fire a couple of things at you that I enjoyed and see if you like them as much, are as interested as I am for them.
Let's do it.
But before we get to that, did you hear this week that Henry Cavill wants to play Captain Britain in the MCU? Now, Captain Britain is quite an obscure superhero, kind of not terribly far away from like a Captain America type.
It looks quite similar.
Not dissimilar. I wouldn't mind seeing it. A lot of people, I mean, like, he's a very well-known comic book character, part of one of the crappier Avengers teams. Would you like to see Henry Cavill crossover?
It seems like it would be a bit like kind of like on the nose and a bit like.
I think so.
Have to be a joke.
That's exactly what I've been trying to get in my head. It's almost like
it'd be a joke, right?
I don't think it's a joke though. I think it's a serious character.
Well, then they'd probably make it a joke. I don't know.
You'd have to make.
I'm not saying you'd have to. I just don't know. Like, it's so. What new does it bring to the table if it's not a joke, right?
I don't know.
Like, otherwise you don't do it. Otherwise, it's just
I like
rehashing.
the idea of, I like the idea of Henry Cavill in the MCU.
Yeah.
Not sure I'm thrown on this exact character. Just because he's British.
Why did he want it? Is it just because he's British?
I guess so. Why not?
Okay. Well, he's also Welsh. He's not British, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, Wales is part of Britain. The Great Britain.
Captain Welsh.
Captain Welshman. Well, anyway, did you hear this week that Suicide Squad director David Ayer, so the old one, the old one.
Yes.
He's posted a few images of Jared Leto as the Joker in previously hitherto unseen shots, which he's pushing to get his own Snyder cut, right? Is basically what's happening. He did his piece. He's like, I'm not going to say anything else about it. And now he's like, well, maybe I could make some money out of this. So it's like he basically made this post about Jared Leto actually having been amazing as the Joker, but no one saw it. And these are sort of rolling off the back of that. And I'm a bit like...
How many times do we need to hear this?
So many times now.
I don't care.
I don't want to see it.
I didn't even watch the first one. I don't care about Jared Leto as a Joker.
It's not for me. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I don't have any major love for it.
Yeah. I mean, like...
Well, anyway, look, let's skip on from that. Let's skip on to the Disney Plus day. Now, so much stuff was announced. I think I'm just excited for all of it. And let me give you a couple I was excited about, and you can tell me what you think. First and foremost, we had some concept art / images of the Obi Wan Kenobi series.
Yeah, I saw this.
I think I sent you them. The main one being that he's going to have a rematch with Vader.
I just wish they didn't say that.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
a little
shut
bit.
the fuck up about it.
It's just an image, though. So it could be like a memory. It could be like like when Luke goes into the cave or whatever.
That is like all the shit though. Like, I want to know when it happens. Like, I don't want to know that going in. Like, that is the central question. Like, what is this going to be about? Is the last time like Obi-Wan saw Vader before he sees him in A New Hope? Was it when he watched him slide into the lava? Or is there shit in between? Like, and you've basically taken the mystique away before the things even had a trailer.
True.
I don't like that. I wish they would have shut the fuck up.
Wow.
In the new segment, shut the fuck up, Disney.
Dre dropping bombs.
Hot take, spicy
takes.
Right, anyway, sorry.
Oh, no.
My
I think it's perfectly valid.
Yeah.
It's like most trailers now ruin the majority of movies anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so you might as well get it in your TV shows as well.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, we also were introduced to the fact that Agatha Harkness, you remember her from the WandaVision show, she is getting her own spin-off. So we got a bunch of just images of titles, essentially. It's going to be called Agatha House of Harkness. It's coming to Disney Plus. Could be exciting.
Nice.
We also, now this is one that I'm excited for, and I don't know. I'm gonna play a little summon to you and see if you remember it, because I remember it pretty well. 1 second.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and this is being the
X-Men 90 show. It's coming back,
redone,
baby.
Right? Yeah, they're doing a new animated show.
Well,
I didn't hear what it was about, though. Is it just going to be all new, or is it going to be continuation?
Great point. It's called X-Men 97. Now, the interesting part about that is the fact that the show was canned in 97. So it could easily just be a continuation, which is fantastic. I'd love to bring back...
I forgot about that.
They bring back a bunch of the original voice actors.
That's almost as good as... Sorry.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Sorry, you can cut that if you want.
It's in my head.
Yes.
They're
bringing up all the original voice actors, you said?
They're bringing back a bunch of the original voice actors, which is going to be super exciting. And it's also nice because it's a nice way to introduce the X-Men into sort of more open Marvel canon, university type things, so we can start seeing them coming into the MCU at last. I'm so excited for them in the MCU. Well, anyway, a couple of other quick bits then. Did you see, from the same day, that there's going to be a new Predator sequel. It is called Prey. And we just got, basically, an image, as you can see. It's a predator stalking his prey, funnily enough. I'm excited, man.
If fucking...
Did you like any of the Predator
if
spin-offs?
Arnold with his, like, Gatling gun struggled, like, what is this poor woman with a bow and arrow going to do? Why are we making...
It looks like it kind of looks like she's almost like an Aloy type. She's like from either like a dystopian future or from the past. So maybe it's thrown back to different time periods.
Maybe. Do we care, Tommy?
I'm excited about it. I love the Predator. I've got this little like secret love for Predator.
Okay.
Not many of the like the newer ones. I think like Predator 1 is just one of like the classic camp 80s.
Yeah, it is.
Macho man.
Legit only saw that one.
Predator 2 is a bit weird. It's Donald Glover. He's in New York, I think, for some reason. But then I have this kind of like, I kind of have a love for like the Alien versus Predator stuff. Like I know it's crap.
I can't get into that kind of stuff.
But it's just, I just like kind of like the idea of him crossing over.
Yeah, it's like King Kong versus Godzilla. Plug to another podcast. I just
go back.
It's just it's not doesn't tickle me.
Not for you.
Doesn't tickle my pickle.
That's all right. That's perfectly fine. Well, last one then. Marvel Zombies, and there's a bunch of others, guys. So like, I highly recommend going and checking out all the stuff that came out. There were there was teasers for Moon Knight. There was teasers for She-Hulk. There were further teasers for Ms. Marvel. So go and check it out. There's a bunch there. I'll let you guys come back and let us know what your opinions of it are. But one thing that I was really intrigued by was the fact that Marvel Zombies is getting its own TV show. Now it's clearly done really well. We talked about this in the What If show.
So, yeah, is it going to be just following that
Great
world?
question.
I wonder.
Is it a different set of zombies?
Yeah, probably
Who
not.
knows?
It's probably going to be the same story, I would imagine.
I'd imagine otherwise. I think differently. I feel like they...
Not the same story, but like
they
playing
did,
off that world.
They did like confirm that the second season of What If is going ahead.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll do like a completely separate thing for this. This is going to be animated by the looks of it.
Well, it seems a bit weird to be like, get all this great reception to Marvel Zombies in the way that What If imagined it, and then to just do it differently.
Why not?
Because you
different universes, different things.
Just got a lot of great reception, and we only got 30 minutes. Like, obviously, people want
They're
more
gonna
expanded
come back.
versions of that. Anyway,
they're going to come back in What If Season 2, though, surely.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they are.
Did you see the I Am Groot
Yes
show?
Ah,
I don't know anything about it, but
it's just an animated
but what's
series.
not to like, right?
Yeah. Shout out to our competition winner, MCU Informer, who I sent the prizes to. We gave him a little, what are they called? Funko Pop? It's like a Funko Pop of Groot. I was genuinely like really upset to let it go.
Yeah,
It'd been in my apartment for like 2 weeks.
Fair enough.
And I was like, oh my God, nah, but seriously, it was, that show's going to be great. I've got a good feeling.
I do too.
Groot and maybe Rocket. Do you reckon
I don't
Rocket
know
will
who's going to
in
be in it. I don't know anything. I don't have any like theories. I just mean that it'll be it can't just be Groot because he can only say one word. So like
3 words. I know. Like what else is gonna?
Sorry, one phrase.
Did you have any news this week,
dude? Beyond the Disney Plus stuff, which there is.
Was there anything that stood out to you? Anything you want to see? Moon Knight looks great, by the way. We saw.
Was there any announcements about Oh, there's a Disney Pinocchio. What else is there?
Oh, did you also hear that apparently tomorrow, so our time it's Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday, obviously, there's apparently going to be a new Spider-Man trailer.
Nice.
So they released a poster of it this week, but the word on the street is that there will be a trailer coming tomorrow, so we won't get a chance to talk about it until you're back.
Bummer.
2 weeks time.
But I will watch it.
I'll watch it too.
I did see they released the campaign first, like footage of Halo, and I'm like, fuck yeah!
Really?
I'm actually excited about it again.
I thought there was big problems.
I don't know what
I
have. I'm so confused as to what's going on with this.
I think there's problems.
But they did release the first look, and it looked really cool.
Great.
I don't know how it'll scale, but what they gave, I was like, I want to play. So
it sounds like there's problems. So I hope they're just going to take their time and like not rush it out.
I think that there's problems with like co-op and like the way that like they're. Anyway, I'll save that.
Stop covering your mouth. We're on a podcast.
The way that they've saved it. I'm itching my mouth, like covering it, Thomas. The way that they like have built it, they just assume certain things would be the same, but like actually, if you're doing like an open world Halo game or a semi-open world, like things like having co-op online and having you save in the same spot, like they just hadn't thought that out, and so they cut parts of that and are gonna release Anyway, I'll spare you the details, but
no, I'd love to know how that's going to work, because that's two disparate types of gameplay that are like.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm just excited to play a new Halo game, to be honest, at this point. So maybe I'm a fanboy.
You're stoked about. Oh man, I'm excited for you by how excited you are. It gets me excited, bro. Well, anyway, if you guys have heard anything that we haven't talked about, if you've got a specific thing from the Disney Plus day that we wanted to talk about and we didn't, we can always come back to it. Let us know. You can hit us up on Instagram at Podcast Assemble.
Or podcastassemble@gmail.com.
My man. Well, anyway, did you hear this week that, segueing into our main topic?
Yes.
Red Notice has officially, apparently, had the biggest opening day ever for any film on Netflix.
What does that mean?
No idea. They never released their numbers.
So, like, they can just lie.
Well, I don't know. Like, it's exciting for the guys, at least. Like, good on them. Like, it's had a lot of hype. It's had a lot of pushbacks.
Didn't they just say that was Squid Games?
TV show. That's a show.
Okay, but there was another one before this, though, that had a... Anyway, point
being...
They can they can say whatever they want.
They can say what they want. They don't release the numbers, but everyone's excited. We had posts from Ryan. We had posts from Gal. We had posts from The Rock. I'm excited to talk about it.
I'm trying to be.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well,
So, good thing we're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Let's do our stupid plot summaries. This is obviously Red Notice. It was actually recommended to us by friend of the show, Amir. Thank you very much, friend of the show, Amir. We're going to talk about this. This, like I say, not only was the biggest opening for a movie on Netflix, it also had the biggest budget for a movie on Netflix.
Was it?
$200 million.
What a waste of money.
Hit me up with your stupid plot summary.
That was it. Okay. Ryan Reynolds and The Rock play the same characters they played for two decades. Except one of them has a shittier agent who left out the sponsored product placement clause. Gal Gadot. Why? Because she's hot right now, right? This movie is 200 meters long and 2 inches deep.
Wait, is that a quote from a film?
I don't know.
I think you said that. Either you said that last week.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's a quote from the film.
I don't think it's a quote from the film.
I think you've been recycling your stupid plot summaries.
No, I don't think. Well, the listeners can tell me, but that's my summary, man. Anyway.
So my stupid plot summary then takes a slightly different route this week. I didn't have a lot of time today. I was working, so mine is actually from Metacritic user HR Herika.
At least you're plugging him.
And what I did was I chose one that sort of was about the level I was looking. If we gave things marks out of 10, I found one that hit about the level I would give it, and it just says, funny but predictable. Surprise ending, however. The acting was good, but the story seemed to be borrowed from too many other recent films.
All films. This is like a completely borrowed. Borrowed is kind.
I like it. I liked it. I mean the summary, the stupid plot summary.
I mean, that's like accurate.
Look, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So the plot for this is essentially, we are in the world of organized art crime, correct?
Who knew?
And the two I've got. That's funny. My literal first comment about this movie is, I honestly knew I cared so little about art crime. So basically, we have the two leading world's art thieves going head to head for an unstealable prize, right?
Yeah.
And it's how they get there.
It's two art thieves competing to steal a bunch of stuff. You're right, unstealable, because one of them apparently doesn't exist, the thing that they're trying to steal, while being chased by the FBI agent who's trying to catch them.
Yes.
Kind of like a Catch Me If You Can, except with art.
What do you think
tropes
the IMDb score is for this right now? I'm interested to see what you say for this.
IMDb would be low. 5?
No, it's 7. It's bang on 7.
Stupid.
What do you think the Metacritic score
users.
is? Well, what do you think the Metacritic score is?
40.
39.
There we go.
It's 39.
That's more my fucking...
The user score, however, is 6.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds just pulls hard. He brings his troll fans with him, hard. I think.
All right, now tell me what your Rotten Tomato score is for this.
The Rotten Tomato score would be, I don't know, probably like 66 or something.
37.
Really? Thank God.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in the user scores there. I thought they'd bring it up. I thought it was gonna be like 37 and like 78, and you'd meet in like the, I don't know, 50s, 60s.
Well, look, this is directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber. I'm never going to say his name right. Who has a really interesting sort of filmography, right? So, on the one hand, he directed We Are the Millers and Dodgeball.
Good movies.
Objectively good movies, but on the other hand, he directed Skyscraper and Central Intelligence. So
there you go. That's like literally their birth child.
Yeah, it really is, and it's like the third time he worked with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who's in this as John Hartley. It's got Ryan Reynolds as Nolan Booth. It's got Gal Gadot as the Bishop. It's got Rita Ayer as Inspector Das. I bring up because she is in one of our favorite shows, Umbrella Academy. Mm-hmm. She's great. Two other people to mention: Chris. I'm never going to say this name right. Diamantopoulos as Soto Voice. I bring him up because he had the worst British accent I've ever heard committed to screen. It was, even if that's his real accent, it sounded fake. It sounded like he was deep faked.
He was doing a voice.
It was awful.
He was doing like a voice like this or something.
I don't know what he was doing, but it wasn't that. So we're gonna jump into our world famous segment. It's time for goofiest IMDb picks. Are you excited for this one? This movie has got some gems.
Okay.
I mean, let's gems. And I've picked two that I think are the goofiest for you right now. So first and foremost, I am going to share with you MWW Michael Wilkerson. You ready for this?
I am ready.
First goofiest profile pic. Tell me what's happening in this picture.
He is emerging triumphant from a rock pool.
I think he's at a slip and slide. I think he's just coming.
He's just wet and wild again.
Yeah, I think he's coming down.
Okay.
I think he's finishing like a slide somewhere, or just under a.
I think he's emerging triumphant from some kind of water in a tank top.
Waterfall. Yes, yeah. He's very, very bald, very large man. Looks like a wrestler. And the second one is Bobby Blish. Now, if I said to you Bobby Blish, what kind of picture do you think you're gonna get immediately? Just say anything.
I could see it being a bit bogan.
Well, describe to the listeners what is going on in this picture.
Hey, I cannot. I'm without words. I guess the first thing that comes up is Rastafari, man.
Well,
it's like
it's
steroids.
And Jack Sparrow and steroids.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That is literally.
You just accurately described what is happening here.
That's what?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that wins.
That wins live.
I think that wins.
That's the best IMDb picture I've ever seen.
I feel bad that people can't see these things. Like that is.
We should post them really on our Instagram.
Post them on the Instagram feed.
That's true. We should do that. Yeah. So quickly then, before we do move on, do you think Mr. Bobby Blish is more or less goofy than our current show champion, which is Mr. Tim Cook?
Go back to Bobby Blish. I mean, it's at least a headshot. But it's just such a ridiculous human that I'm going to go with him.
He's got to win this.
He's a ridiculous human.
He's taking the MVP trophy right here.
Ridiculous.
Why human. Does he look like he's just pumping human growth hormone into his eyes?
Yeah, and very intense eyes as well.
Surely that's photoshopped, that picture. There's no way.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in anything.
Me neither. Except for this, apparently.
When was he in this?
That's a good question.
What is his title? Look,
I'm not going to put that much effort into it. We'll go back. So, do you want to talk a little bit of non-spoilers about this movie first?
Yeah, I mean, this is like Red Notice is like a movie that steals from every other big budget Hollywood plot. Point, trope.
Talk about the story first, yeah.
I that's what I'm saying.
It's
the last big budget movie you watched. It's this.
No Time to Die.
This plot. It's this plot. Like some version of that movie is this plot. I mean,
espionage, heist.
I don't think there's much more to say than what was said without spoiling. Like you basically summarized the plot. It's two art thieves stealing stuff, trying to one up each other.
True. I've talked a couple of times previously about how I have a special category of movies which you're going to be soon falling into, which is aeroplane movies. Now, for anyone who's not heard previous episodes, long story short, I have, in my head, I categorize things that I need to see at the cinema, things that I will see on streaming, things that, I would, happily not watch ever. And there's this one little space in there, which is things for movies that I'll watch eventually. I'll watch them, but probably when I'm on an airplane, it's long haul. I'm literally trapped on a flight. Yeah. This is that movie.
I have a category of movies that like I just don't want to watch.
Okay.
This is that one. That if I could reinvent a time machine, instead of going and doing something really, really important, I would take this movie out of my brain.
Wow.
Dude, it's just like...
It's not that bad.
No, it's movies
not.
that
It's
like
a bit of fun.
No, can I say that? It's movies that like just don't do anything new.
Yeah.
Like, or don't make any attempt to, and also are like heralded as being pretty good. I'm like, no, that was shit. They didn't push anything forward. It wasn't even itself. It wasn't even like that funny. Like the only good part was Ryan Reynolds.
You have got a serious vendetta against
and he was exactly the same person he's been for the last 2 decades.
And we are a little bit, as we've mentioned a couple of times.
I'm getting there, Ryan.
I'm a little over Ryan right now.
Ryan needs a breaky.
I did write down a comment here that this was a movie that I watched in 2 parts, and unfortunately, I watched the first hour of this movie, stopped, went and watched Bond, which is an unfathomably better movie, came back, and then watched the second half of it today. So, like, in between both halves of this, I've gone and seen something which is, like, really good movie making versus this. So, like, for I mean, jumping ahead a little bit, there's a lot of green screen in this. Like, there's
a lot of green screen. There's a lot of CGI.
But when you compare that to some of the stuff that's in Bond, there's just this one, it's not spoiling anything. There's this one scene in Bond where they're in, like, a dark corridor, basically, and it's phenomenal use of like, light and dark. So, like, imagine on, like, a big IMAX screen or wherever you're watching it, it's the whole screen basically is black, and there's this tiny doorway, and you can just see the 2 characters, and it's so beautifully shot. And then I came back and I had to watch The Rock on a green screen for another hour and a half.
Green screen that doesn't add anything as well.
No.
Like, I'm trying to see. Like, this is just everything that's wrong with Hollywood.
Yeah,
they constantly produce movies like this.
Is this like a weird spin-off of like Ocean's, like spin-off, like a rip-off of like Ocean's 11?
It's a rip-off of Ocean's 11. It's a rip-off of, like, I'm pretty sure a James Bond movie where they're stealing some art. It's a rip-off of, like, every movie that ever existed in Hollywood that was good. They tried to take, like, a little part of it, but just a little bit. Just stick to their cookie cutter formula of Hollywood, right?
So then, talking about performances, let's move on then. What did you think of... I mean, we're only really going to talk about the main 3, maybe 4 actors in this, because no one else was really in this.
I think I hate to, like, sound redundant, but, like, the performances were exactly what you'd expect from a movie that was produced by Netflix with these people.
Well, that's interesting you say that. Yeah. Let me just jump ahead, because the film was originally supposed to land in theaters under Universal Studios, but they sold the distribution rights to Netflix. So
it's all Hollywood.
There was clearly money behind this at one point. Well, I mean, there was $200 million.
Yeah.
But, like, I wonder if they just realized this is like a bit of a dud, and we're kind of like, oh.
See, I don't even think I think it's just like Netflix probably like bought. I don't know. I don't know the details, but, like, this is the kind of thing that Universal Pictures would produce. Like, it's
True.
This is the cookie cutter. How do we appeal to the most mass audience without pissing anyone off? Like, take no risk, no ambition, make the same movie we always make. And so, but for some reason, as I was watching this, it kind of felt like they were doing all this. They were using every Hollywood trope, every cookie cutter formula. Yeah. But for some reason, they, like, truly seem to believe that it's the first time it was done. Like, they were trying to make us believe that this is important. This has never been done. This is a great movie. It's like the whole time I was like, I'm not buying it.
I've got to say, like, I know I go on random vendettas against certain actors and stuff, but, like, I've just never understood The Rock. Like, I don't get, like, he's very charismatic. I'll give him that. Like, in a wrestling ring, he's probably one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, maybe behind, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin, because I don't know that much about wrestling.
Because I have a list too. I don't have a list.
Well, that's all I know, really. And The Undertaker and Mankind, they're my favorites. The classic 4, maybe Triple H if you're lucky. But take that out of that sort of, like, live performance theater. I don't think it works the same. Like, that charisma's not...
Man, he's just got a mass appeal. There's a lot of people that would buy...
I'm going to say something way different then.
No,
he's just got a massive...
He's got a massive appeal.
What do you think? What do you think about the pacing?
Why is your head there, bud?
What? yeah. It's a quote from the film. What about the pacing then? What do you think? I think it's actually pretty good. I thought it was, like, fairly well paced.
I mean, like, I think that the pacing was fine, mainly because it was aided by Ryan Reynolds' humor, right? Like, if not for that, it'd be pretty bad. But
it was a lot of, like, and then they went here, and then they went here, and then they went here, and there was a lot of, like, big title cards,
which is, like, another point. I was like, it feels like this is so Hollywood, like they're just going around the world because they can.
Yes.
Because like they think that makes it a good movie, and also they've got these big actors who probably want to just go take a vacation in Spain.
Well,
right?
Interestingly, a lot of this was shot during COVID, so there were a lot of. So this is actually a bit of trivia. I'm stealing ahead here. So the jet-setting globe, all the antics were supposed to be set in Rome, Bali, Valencia, Cairo, Argentina, Sardinia, London, etc. However, many of the sites were actually in Georgia, in the US, because they just couldn't get to the locations.
I bet they were so bummed.
Because
like they signed on to this movie because like at least we get to go travel to these cool places. You know, like this isn't that great of a movie. It's probably all of them have a Netflix deal or something.
I think Ryan Reynolds does.
Yeah, like at least one of them would. And they're just like, whatever, this is one film off my docket and I get to travel to all these places, but nope.
Well, the bit where they were supposed to be in the Amazon rainforest, and it was literally like, it looked like they were in a parking lot with like trees stuck up around them. It was awful.
Yeah, especially when they like flew out of the hidden place without spoiling things.
Jesus.
And they were in that water. I was like, this looks like a set.
Well, let's try and just skip through the last two very quickly before we move on to the rest of it. Action. What do you think?
First scene was cool. That's it. That's
what I thought. There was like maybe 2 good action scenes. I like the fight in the vault as well. That was pretty well choreographed. I think when they brought the scale down, so like everything had
like a video game when they were driving the Jeeps and stuff. I was like, I would play this level. That'd be fun.
Everything
but I didn't enjoy watching it that much.
Look, everything had to be like the James Bond giant wide set shots of like beautiful scenery. Whereas when they brought it down, like the first scene when they were in the art gallery, all this in the trailer, and it's Ryan Reynolds being chased by Dwayne Johnson, or that scene where they were in the vault and it was Gal Gadot fighting the two of them. Great. Like, that was fine. But as soon as they broadened that picture out just a little bit, I was like,
Oh, I thought you were talking about the vault with in the Nazi tomb.
No.
You're talking about the second vault, the first
vault.
The
earlier one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, not fair. That was a good scene, too. Like, the choreography was good. I think, like, if Build-A-Bear franchise got into filmmaking, and then, like, their prime customer was, like, you know, like, agents of Hollywood in the 90s. Yes. Or sorry, no, like TV or movie 80s. Executives in the 90s, 80s.
It's a very 80s film.
This is what would be made.
Yeah.
Like variations of this.
I'm lying, it's 90s. It doesn't have the ambition of
90s, I mean. Yeah. This is what would be made. And like there's always a car ready, right? In the chase scene. Like there's always a Ferrari with keys in it.
Yeah.
There's always a car ready. There's always something exploding that Dwayne Johnson is jumping from. He's always in jungle attire.
He is.
Mate, the guy has a contract, I'm sure.
He's always in the fucking
jungle.
There's
no way that's not in his contract that it's like he has to be in a schmedium jungle attire.
Yeah.
And he also has to be jumping off some kind of foundation that is crumbling.
Oh, my God.
Just long enough to latch on to show the tricep. Like, that's a clause.
Do you remember the skyscraper?
In his contract. The skyscraper movie where or like the LA one where the earthquake just takes everything. He's been in so many.
Yeah. Mate,
they're all the same, dude.
And the worst thing about this movie is, and I'm going to skip over this super quick, is that CGI was not good.
Yeah, I mean, for $200 million, they must have spent it all on Dwayne Johnson. I don't understand why. But
one more question before we move on, super quickly. At what point did pro wrestlers who are in movies stop doing their signature moves in said movies? Because there was a time when if you had like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, or you had a John Cena, or you had The Rock, they'd bust out like a suplex, or they'd do like a DDT or some shit. I know what these moves are called. When did that? I want to see that. I still want to see that now. I know The Rock's moved on and he's apparently like a movie star.
This is his signature move. Jumping off crumbling ground to jump on and hang by a thread from a cliff, skyscraper, waterfall, whatever you want to insert.
All right. What are your tones and themes? Are there any?
Life isn't about material things, but the thrill and the journey.
Cool.
It's pretty fucking good, I think, for pulling out of this rock. That's like water out of a rock. I just pulled water out of a rock.
You did. Well done. Yeah. Out of the rock. Well done.
Out of Dwayne Johnson. I didn't mean to do that. You're right. Pun.
I just said it's like a classic heist espionage nonsense movie. Like, it's not even a tone or a theme, really. It's kind of a theme, but it's like, I didn't get it. I didn't gain anything from this other than maybe lost a few brain cells. So, 3 best and 3 worst. You must have something that you enjoy about this.
I accidentally deleted my first one. I think I put Ryan Reynolds is still funny, even though it's the same thing we've always seen. Like it does hit because he's funny. He's got that. What is the like snarky? He's got the snark. He's got it down. He's a snarker. He's snarky.
Did you think it felt a little phoned in this?
Oh, for sure.
I felt
but like that almost adds to the snark.
Sure, okay.
That's almost like, you're right. I am phoning it. And guess what? Mike Jin is in the fucking movie too. Fuck you guys.
Girlfriend.
And I was just like, yeah, fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
To Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I mean, like the third bad. I mean, like good for him. The psychological evaluation jokes were kind of funny.
Sure. I'm down for that.
Having seen actually like what's that show where they
Dr. Phil.
Jerry Springer. No, what's the one where Mindhunter?
Mindhunter, yeah.
Where it follows like how that actually became a department.
Mm-hmm,
So like having seen that, which is like a very good show and everyone should watch, and you should stop even listening to our podcast about this stupid movie. Sorry.
We'll finish first.
Finish
the podcast
first. Go watch the show. It's good. Also, Dennis Villanova, I think, actually directed that.
Villanova,
show.
did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
I could have made that up.
I mean, you might have done, but I'm very impressed that you might know that.
Anyway, having seen that and understanding like how they actually evaluate characters, it was kind of funny to like watch jokes be made out of it. The other part would be, I guess the first chase sequence was kind of fun.
David Fincher.
Sorry, not Villanova. Fincher's good too, though.
Fincher's great. Sorry, go on.
Those are my three, to be honest, the best.
I just opened my phone. It is just that amazing
it's
picture.
Rastafari steroid guy.
It's Bobby Blish again.
Bobby Blish. I can't believe that guy's name is Bobby.
Great name. Great name.
That's not a Bobby, bro.
He's a Bobby.
He's not a Bobby.
He's not a Jack Sparrow, but he's trying. He's a yoke sparrow.
Yeah.
All right, so I quite like the building the wall payoff.
Yeah, that was cute. But like also, why would they have the prisoners build the wall?
Great question. There was a sheer drop. There was a sheer drop outside of it though.
So why build the wall in the first place?
I don't know.
Just to show that Ryan Reynolds had it all planned. Trope. Yeah.
It's very much like the Tyrion Lannister rolling off to the edge of the prison cell. So you can you're just looking over and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
The definitely not a cop in prison scene. Very much enjoyed that scene.
True, forgot about that. That is a good, like, it's classic Ryan Reynolds.
Classic
humor.
Yeah.
Like, that was Van Wilder, basically.
It was close.
That was him. That you just changed. He's like, who can I be?
Finally graduated. The last one was I mentioned up top, the fake egg. Like, it's like the very first scene. Like, I'm not spoiling anything. It's The Rock showing off that he is a detective, and he pours a Coca-Cola over what they think is one of these fake
chemical reaction,
eggs, and it just disintegrates.
It's not the real egg.
I liked it. It's a trope, but I thought it went well.
I thought that was really funny when he comes in. He's like, "You guys, do you have thermal imaging?" And they're like, "Of course." And like that, and then he shows. He's like, "If this was a real thing, it'd be reflecting radiation, and that's why this is a fake." And like the manager of the museum like looks at his security guy. He's like, "Oh, the thermal thingy thing must be broken."
Yeah.
It's like, this is so full. Like, what is this ridiculous shit? First of all, like, why would you even answer this random guy who comes in with an iPad? Like, what is your security? Let me just give him everything right away. Like, no. Secondly, like, is that really your response? The thermal thingamajig is broken.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's pretty integral to everything that this
is like
this device is supposed to do. Like, why is this a yada yada yada? Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, it's fine.
Anyway.
I guess that could fit into my worst as well.
Well, that is.
Give me 3 worst.
I mean, it's like the most predictable movie I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. You could tell, like, after 15 minutes, after that first sequence, the next scene, you could pretty much map out the movie.
Oh, easily. Did. There was one of 2 ways it could have gone, and it went one of the 2 ways.
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad here because we did have a friend of the show, Amir, recommend this for us to talk about, and
this is great podcast content.
Tearing its pieces for
this is great podcast content. I would say this: write in and tell me why you like it.
Yes, dude.
Or did you like it? Is that what was the feedback? I loved it.
You just said pretty much yes.
Defend it.
Right. Come on and do one of the argument episodes we do against Dre about this movie.
It's fun. It's good content. Like,
great content. So what were your 3 worst? Sorry, you did one.
Sorry, that was the first one. Was the most predictable movie I've ever seen. Second one, honestly, it's like one and the same. Is the most Hollywood movie I've ever seen. It's not even just predictable. It's like you could tell someone was like, "Get The Rock, we get Gal Gadot. We basically make it a heist.
Who's hot right now
with like live art pieces? It was planned all along.
Yeah,
and And oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds, because we have a deal with him, right? Yeah, we got to get him in a movie.
Get him in here.
He just bees his old self. And then the third one I just had was just going around the world because you can for no other reason than to do it.
Well, it's like that's the classic Adam Sandler thing, isn't it? He's just like, guys, let's get all his mates and go to like Hawaii for a film.
Fair enough.
A film shoot.
I would too if I could.
Yeah, actually, fair. Yeah.
No
so
hate,
my three are the offensive green screening in this.
Yeah.
Couldn't get over it. I've said it already, but The Rock's a movie star. I know people love him. I know there are things people say he's good in. I just haven't.
He's just the same dude.
Caught the fever. Just not for me.
Yeah.
And my last one was that the sequel baiting at the end is just not. It's like that classic. I feel like this will get a sequel.
I will not be watching.
Me neither. But there is a classic like Hollywood trope that's been happening over recent years of trying to build cinematic universes, and there's always like a stinger for the next one, or like a thing that's going to happen, or they leave it on a knife edge. And I reckon 90% of the movies don't get a second. So it's like, if this doesn't get a follow-up movie, which it will, it'll make money, and Netflix will want to cash in on having Gal Gadot, Dwayne Johnson, and Ryan Reynolds quips. If it didn't, it's like, why
There's
why
no
is this
need
here?
to do it anyway.
No.
Like, you could still make the sequel without that little sequence.
So talk to me then.
What did you think? Sorry.
There you go.
Real quick. What did you think about Gal Gadot in this?
I thought she was fine, but I think what she was given, she was good with it.
Just wasn't given much.
She was
I
just
think
Gal
she just
Gadot
showed
around.
up and just played herself.
Yeah, literally just played herself.
Which is like very likable, very attractive, but like not much there for the character. She's just playing off.
It was supposed to be like a buddy heist movie, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the kind of point of it, and she was the foil almost.
Yeah, she wasn't developed really. She's the only one that didn't have a backstory.
Well,
they gave the dad backstory for both, and then
I guess her kind of point in this movie was to always be the one that scuppers whatever they're doing.
Like the hee gotcha.
Yeah, she's literally that. She was. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Gotcha again.
She was like a cartoon character.
It literally was. It's
Just
like it was like the Pokemon. Like
she just popped
we're
out
like,
the side.
you know, like Team Rocket, we're back. Like
oh my god, it
Yeah.
totally was Team Rocket. Okay then, super quickly, one last question:
yeah. Sorry, let's go.
is this movie better or worse than Aquaman 2018?
It's worse than most fish movies.
Any movie about
Any
fish.
fish movie would be better than this.
There's not many fish in this movie.
Yeah, but not the point.
Uh,
If you put a fish in a movie, it would be better than this. It's better than all.
This
Or it's
is
worse. Sorry,
This
it's
is worse than Aquaman 2018. Absolutely, like not my.
by reams of paper.
Not really my kind. We're back
Like-
to the paper.
Like
All right, so let's do a bit of spoilers, shall we?
tail reams. Yeah.
The main twist is that Gal Gadot and The Rock were working together all along. Oh my god.
It's the working together all along. The FBI agent isn't actually the agent, it's the criminal. The mistake in the beginning that shouldn't have happened actually should.
Mm-hmm.
You get it.
Mm-hmm.
You get
So
it.
they were both the bishops. So on a chessboard, there were always two bishops. Actually, that's incorrect. Factually incorrect. There are four bishops on a chessboard. I wonder if that's what they're working towards. I wonder if that's the point. They're like, there'll be four.
Yeah, but like working together. There's two bishops working together.
Agreed. And I thought the twist initially was going to be that Ryan Reynolds was the second bishop. That's what it kind of was hinting at to me. It was almost a case of, I thought he was like the subterfuge to try and put The Rock off his job. Because The Rock, admittedly, he was kind of convincing as the FBI agent. He was trying to get himself, off the charges.
Those were the two ways it could go.
Those were the literal
reason
two ways.
I
That's
thought,
what I said before.
you're right. The reason I was like, it's going to be The Rock is because it was like, they just seemed to be setting up Ryan Reynolds to be this like, not aloof, but like constantly foiled.
Really?
Constantly
Alright.
the butt of the joke guy.
But that's why I thought he'd make a really good second
You're right. It
second
was
piece.
super tropey. It could have gone either way.
It could have been
Yeah.
either. I reckon they filmed two endings.
I reckon they didn't decide till they figured out who's casting who they could
Definitely.
have to film what dates.
Or who had the better chemistry with Gal Gadot. They were like, well, the Rock's done
Which
all right
I didn't
here.
think The Rock had. To be
Neither
fair.
of them did.
I thought that was like super like, yeah, right.
Kind of
bro.
creepy.
Yeah.
And also, he's 3 times the size of her, so whenever he was near,
Does
he
he
looked
drink
like
like vampire blood? Like he looks like he hasn't aged, but also there's something about him where I'm like, you're a bit off.
I don't know. He's
very like
he's just like yoked.
Yeah.
There's so much to him. I don't know how you can stay that big for so long. I mean, also
Yeah.
there's human growth hormones. Or the other way I thought it might have gone was that Ryan Reynolds was just like a distraction character. Like he was actually So as in the bishop was kind of planning, like letting him do his own thing to distract from what the bishop was doing the whole time. I thought
that was part of what happened
kind
in the first part of the
kind
heist. She was like letting him do all his things so that anyway.
I just think there were one too many like big plot twists.
There was like 10 too many false trail hopes where there was 10 too many things like, well, oh, you thought this, but it was actually this.
I was here all along.
It happened all along. You should have known. Like,
how should I have known?
First of all, no, I shouldn't have, because you just did that out of nowhere.
Well, there was a bit.
Second of all, like,
sorry, you go.
I don't care because you've done this 4 times.
There was a bit when they were in the vault.
Yes.
In the English guy's vault.
Yes.
And they went through this big rigmarole to get in there, and then Gal Gadot just pops out and she's like, there's an easier way if you'd have just thought about it. And you're like, you as the viewer who's only seen this vault as this impenetrable thing that no one can get in without all these extra steps, how the fuck are we supposed to know that? Feels cheap. It's so cheap.
Yeah, it feels cheap.
And I get it, she was like seducing the guy whose vault it was, but at the same time, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
How would we have ever guessed?
She's a tropey character. She's like the hot.
It is a little
hot,
bit.
Seductive spy, right?
I'm
the Russian spy, right? The whatever you want to insert James Bond movie.
And the kind of underlining on that is the fact that there is literally a scene. So the film winds up that they go to Argentina to find the final egg. We didn't even talk about the 3 Cleopatra's eggs. There were 3 Cleopatra's eggs. We kind of touched on it. One of which was in an art museum, one of which was in a private collection, and one of which was lost. They got the first 2, and then they had only Ryan Reynolds knew where the third one was.
Yeah.
And they went away to Argentina, and they find it in this Nazi art vault thing that's hidden underground.
One of Hitler's last,
yes, or his art dealers, whatever. And there's literally a quip in this by Ryan Reynolds who goes, just look for the box that says MacGuffin. And I just thought to myself, you've been listening to our podcast. We talked about MacGuffins for the first 15 episodes.
Yeah.
It's true though. Like it's and that's the kind of like tropey shit writing that I expect for this. And when he lifted up the thing and it literally had Cleopatra on it, I was like, we should have expected.
He made a joke about that too. Oh, Nazis, great at naming or something.
Yeah. Unreal. And I guess that kind of shows you where the level of this film was. To be perfect,
it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it expects you to not be surprised about its tropes. I don't know. There's some way I'm not really being clear about it, but as I was watching it, it was with the music swelling as the twist happened. It was like, this is a twist. I'm like, this isn't worthy of the moment.
We didn't talk about music in non-spoilers, but I just wrote a note that just said, it's kind of unnoticeable, the music. It's not really anything in this, but I had the subtitles on while I was watching it because I was kind of doing 3 things at once.
Yeah.
And there was literally a bit that said suspenseful music plays. And without reading that, I wouldn't have known what I was supposed to be feeling. I was it's suspense right now. Great. Glad I had this on.
You had those on.
Yeah, absolutely. This was also kind of an advert. I think you mentioned it before. It has both Ryan Reynolds and The Rock's alcohols in it. Did you notice that?
Oh, really? So my dumb summary didn't make sense then. I said one of them didn't get a product placement in the contract. I didn't see The Rock's alcohol.
I don't think it was overt. I think The Rock was drinking it at the bar. So you know when he's in the airport and he's trying to leave? Yeah. I think it's like a tequila or something, right? I think he was drinking it in the bar, but it's not really referenced. But that's what he's supposed to be drinking.
The gin one got all the
you didn't
5 different shots.
You didn't get the label, though.
You did?
You got everything but the label.
The gin one
it was turned around.
You saw AV something.
Did you?
I at least thought I did.
Was Aviation's... That's Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds gin or whatever it's called. It starts with an A and a V.
Wow.
I believe.
There was two funny jokes in it. One of which was
a couple. He had a couple good one-liners.
I liked the resting failure face. I thought that was
really good.
That was a good line.
That right there, that resting failure face.
That was good.
Makes it worth it all. And then the other good line, there was another one, was like, "She's a solid 10. You're like a little muscular midget." What did he say? Muscular
5'5".
I don't know. He's like a tanned muscular. He didn't say
baby or something.
It was like toddler.
Maybe
toddler. Yeah. I don't know.
It was. I think he had the couple. There was one line I remembered a second ago. I instantly forgot it when they were having the very first fight scene when they're in the art gallery.
Yeah.
And The Rock's chasing Ryan Reynolds, which is actually, I would say, objectively a good scene.
It is.
It's a lot of hijinks. Yeah, it kind of steals again. We talked about stealing from Jackie Chan movies. Kind of stole from that Rush Hour thing where he's
took a little of its own spin.
Yeah, exactly. And he was letting guards fall down and stuff, but never really trying to properly hurt them. I kind of like that. Showed that he had a good side to him as well. There was a quip in there somewhere as well, and I was like, that was actually a half decent joke. Outside of those two, though, I can't really remember any.
There was one where it was about his jacket. I think it's actually in the trailer, and he's like, the cow, something about the cow.
Oh, yeah, there's a very embarrassed cow somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd seen it in the trailer.
Yeah. He had a lot of good jokes. Like, if not for him, honestly, this movie would have been trash. Like, absolute garbage. He carried the comedic. It's meant to be a comedy, right? Because it's very predictable. So, like, it's not meant to actually be a thriller. Or if it is, it does a very bad job of it.
Two questions.
Yeah.
2 questions. Why does Hollywood keep trying to push Ed Sheeran on us in movies and TV shows?
That was like a...
That bit at the end when he's swinging his guitar around.
Yeah, he even's like, I was in Game of Thrones.
That was supposed to be the funny part. That was supposed to be him like self-referentially realizing that he's not a good actor. But in a scene where he's being a really bad actor, I was like, stop it.
I think it was kind of funny though, the joke where it was like he gets the whole movie's about these 3 Fabergé, or not Fabergé eggs.
It's kind of a twist on that, right?
Yeah, whatever it is, it's 3 eggs, Cleopatra. And like they finally get them for this guy. He put on a competition to get them for his daughter's wedding or something.
We haven't really framed this film.
Yeah,
well.
I mean the plot's irrelevant. So anyway, they the whole movie's about it. They get the eggs. They get billions and bazillions of dollars for it because he's a really rich guy. And the daughter runs past the eggs, the gift,
straight
just to Ed Sheeran because
yeah.
he's playing a song. I thought that was pretty funny.
I like that they then given away the family at the end of it. So the bishops had clearly bought their way out of going directly to prison by giving away the Egyptian billionaire, whatever he was.
Yeah,
which is kind of fair enough. He literally paid people to steal stuff for him.
Yeah.
Second question, very quickly: how do they up the stakes in the second movie? Like they're gonna do a second movie. We talked about it's bound to get. What do you do to up the stakes? Are they going to be against the 3rd best art thief in the world? Are they going to get another good art thief?
They're going to just hire another really, really popular actor who is the new competition.
Who do you reckon it's going to be?
It's impossible to say, right? But
I think they'll go female. I think they'll go with like Melissa McCarthy or something.
I don't know who they're going to be.
They've got to go comedian, right? They've got to give it some extra.
That's what this is. It's I guess like there is no stakes. It's a comedy, right? So.
Well, The Rock was.
I think that the predictable thing is they'll just get another big actor.
Well, The Rock was kind of the straight man in this, but now we know his vibe. Yeah. Maybe they'll find someone else who's the straight man, someone else who's like deadpan and
it could be
angry all the time.
Like honestly, doesn't deserve our theorizing.
I don't know. Like have fun with it. I imagine it bringing like Matthew McConaughey and he's like.
Yeah, I mean that like, is something they could do.
That
like,
would be
really. But he tends to do like good movies now.
Yeah, he's changed.
He's like basically pulled a full 180. Did the same movie for like 2 decades.
Once upon a time, we could
have
had him. Yeah,
like, all of a sudden, he like. Have you seen that spiff or skit on it?
No.
It's so funny. It's this like it's True Detective season 1, and it's these guys that do a skit on like the first season of True Detective. So he's like dressed up as Matthew McConaughey in the scenes where he's like really, really like washed up and old and drunk.
Yeah.
He's like, Matthew, we just got a few questions like a detective about your past movie history, and they just throw all the like fool's gold, all how to drop a guy, all of these like you basically made the same movie for 10 years. What happened? And he's like, well, I started reading the scripts, and I realized I just need to stop doing bad movies. Something like I'm butchering it.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Plug for these guys that made this great parody skit of True Detective. Google it on YouTube. It's phenomenal.
I'll check it out. All right.
Yeah.
Trivia, true or false? Are you ready for this? Oh, I've already told you one of these. Damn it. Okay. I'm going to have to change my direction a little bit.
If you want to, I can just give you a trope list whenever you're ready. You tell me.
Can I do this? And give me a trope list?
You do that.
Great. I want to see your feels about these. True or false? Ryan Reynolds plays the son of a policeman in the film. His real father was, in fact, also a policeman.
True.
You're right. It was true.
It's too random.
I know. All right. So, true or false? Tom Cruise, Nicolas Cage, Keanu Reeves were all considered for Ryan Reynolds' part in this movie.
No, Nicolas Cage wasn't.
It's not quite true. They were considered for a part in the movie. And apparently, Nicolas Cage was nominated by Dwayne Johnson. So
I was very wrong.
That tells you everything.
I was very wrong there, yeah.
Last trivia, true or false. I'll only do 3 quick ones. All the cast members from this movie have been in DC movies. The main cast members: Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds. Long pause.
I don't
Epic
recall
podcasting.
Dwayne Johnson being in a DC movie.
He's not in it yet.
Yeah.
He is going to be in the upcoming Black Adam movie. So technically it's false, but
Okay.
he is going to be in it. However, they did say, because obviously Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool now.
Yeah, I saw this.
Back in the day, he was Green Lantern, DC character. They did also say that they wanted to try and get the DC and Marvel universes together. And I've seen the clip of The Rock saying that, and he is hammered.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally see his
he
eyes are
looks
like
drunk. Yeah, I remember.
Well, if I don't want to get it together, we can get it together.
Yeah.
Like, calm down, Dwayne.
It's like, dude, you're not that big. You can't
He
just
is huge.
you can't just make the MCU let you guys in.
Less of you, mate. Come on.
Yeah.
I think he'll be good as Black Adam, though. I think he's got that in him.
I don't know enough about it to say, but
What are your quick tropes? Quick tropes.
oh no, I was just gonna
Quick
list
tropes.
them. Like the cop is actually the criminal. They were working together all along. Trope 2. The false trail, where he gives the wrong information to said person, but said receiving person knows it's the wrong information, so they actually have the right information. The thing you stole is not actually the thing you stole. I'm already sitting here on the couch trope at least 4 times.
So many times.
At least 4 times. I've come to like the guy I've been pitted against, so I can't actually do the thing that I was going to do, and basically reverse everything my entire backstory. Yeah. I'm a bad criminal. No, I guess I'm a good guy now.
I'll be the good guy.
Yeah. The car chase where the fucking car's just waiting there with the keys in it.
There are a lot of tropes in this movie.
The I was leading you here all along trope.
Look, all right, we get it. There are a lot of tropes in this movie.
I could keep going.
Please don't.
Are you bored? I was too when I watched.
Great. Well, thank you very much, guys, for sticking with it. We went on a bit of a tangent with this one. I didn't enjoy it anywhere near as much as I thought I was going to, but that was our sort of rambling overview of Red Notice. Thank you all for sticking with it. We do have a couple of bits of correspondence this week, if you don't mind.
I do not.
We, first of all, have Bobby Blish.
Shut the fuck up.
We had friend of the show, Luke. I put it out there last week. I said, has anyone else seen Eternals yet? What did you think? Were there any quick reactions to the fact that it's now the lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes Marvel movie, which, by the way, has carried on going down since we talked about it. So I think it's in like the late 40s now.
That's unfair.
I think that's unfair. So, and friend of the show, Luke, agrees. I took Tyler and asked, what do you think? He said he thinks the critics are harsh. It was a lot to cram in, and he felt that it was trying to make a statement about religion and defying it and sticking to your encouraged culture. Definitely strong encouragement for the diversity in this movie and pushing for diverse communities, which I agree with. Great. You should be pushing for all of those things. Like, he's right. It did try and cram a lot in. We talked about it last week. If you've not heard our Eternals, not commentary, that's the wrong word, podcast yet. What do you think about that?
I agree with all that. I think it's just crazy to me. What did we say this was for Rotten Tomatoes? The Red Notice? The Red Notice.
Oh, wow, low.
I think it was like 39 or something. So I was going to say, if this is like
37.
better than the Eternals, I would have been pissed.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Imagine.
But not pissed, but I would have been shocked.
Well, on the same lines, new friend of the show, Nat, she just said that she saw it last week. She really enjoyed it, but didn't rate the storyline. That's kind of how I felt about it, I think.
Yeah, it's just that we talked about it, so you can listen to the pod, but I think that at least they swung.
That's what I think. That's what both those guys said.
At least,
I agree with them.
At least everybody agrees. At least they swung.
I mean, like, if you as soon as you stop swinging, it's like the old Rocky Balboa. It's like, it's not about how hard life is, it's how much you can go back up. You gotta keep swinging. Gotta keep swinging. Yeah. Well, thank you both for the correspondence. We really do appreciate it. Where can they find us?
The podcastassemble@gmail.com or podcastassemble on Instagram.
Absolutely. And if you like what you hear, maybe tell a friend or give us a 5-star review on Apple. We like all those things. They apparently help.
Yeah, whatever.
All of the above. One of the things I like to tell friends about. I don't like to tell friends about the podcast, if I'm perfectly honest. I get really self-conscious about it. And then when I do start talking about it, I don't shut up. So
there you go.
We love it when we have new listeners.
Anyone.
Thank you, everyone. Anyone and everyone.
Except anyone. Accepting all individuals.
This is all getting cut. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate it.